25. Severance took his Imperial Fist brothers around the lake's edge until a signal flare appeared in the sky. He knew that was one of his own. Communication being screwed on Ardamantua, they resorted to using signals to communicate. The guardsmen couldn't keep up with the Space Marines, as you can expect, and Severance told 4 of his men to protect the humans and come with them from behind them later on. It took half an hour before they reached the flare's location. It was a second search party of Lotus Gate, commanded by Diligent. They reunite, and Diligent tells his captain that they not only found the blister nest, but they also found survivors. The survivors used the nest to shelter from the planet. 130 Space Marines from Ballad Gateway, Hemispheric, Anterior 6 Gate, and Daylight Walls. And they were poor, barely had any munition, no heavy weapons or vehicles, and just a few fragile servitors. The group was led by First Captain Algerin, who didn't like the walls of Terra being unguarded. Daylight said that they made their choice because the chapter was beset. Algerin responded, worse than beset. The first captain started to explain what had happened to them. They were initially 300 with the chapter master, but the Chrome killed him, and since then they've wear them down by attrition. The chapter master died because he was angry. So angry he wanted to kill all the Chromes, until they got to him. Algerin stopped and asked about if they brought ships. The answer was yes, of course, but they awaited a good moment to evacuate. The first captain said there wasn't any. But the humans came with the 4 Space Marines left behind. The first captain told them that their former auxilia didn't make it a week before the noise drove them mad. But one remained, surprisingly, determined and scatterbrained. Then Daylight met Slaughter, who was glad to see his brother come after them. Next to a wall, a tailor-robed man was working on equipments. Daylight asked who that man was, and Slaughter told him he was the Magos biologist that accompanied them. Slaughter was assigned to guard him, and that's what he's been doing since. Daylight presented himself to Laurentis. The Magos was glad that he could tell the Wall brothers apart. The Magos told him, in a ramble, that he asked for specialized equipment, and then he realized that the chapter master was dead. Slaughter explained to Daylight that Laurentis thought the noise to be organic in nature, a way of communication from the Chrome. Initially, this is what the Magos believed, that it was either a communication for peace, surrendering, or a warning. But he no longer believed so. He believed it was someone else. But when Daylight asked who, the Magos only answered as someone very advanced. Daylight mentioned the ability to move a planetoid, and Laurentis went on how the Old Ones or the Eldars used to have this power. Weird. Daylight asked who had that power now, but he didn't know until they could translate the message. The biologist showed his machines and talked about what he was missing and how he made do with what he had. Daylight asked that surely this voice is hostile. Laurentis agreed, but also said that it might be worth listening to what it says. Daylight wanted to know if he would confirm hostile intent then. Laurentis didn't have to. He believed that the Chrome, like rats, were made hostile, pushed by a bigger predator to fight something it doesn't want. The Chrome are fleeing for their lives, and it made them aggressive. Daylight then asked how did the Chrome travel. The biologist proposed the idea of tunnels, created by the voice pushing them, because the Chrome can't travel in space, though he wasn't sold on the name of tunnels. Subspace tunnels, the biologist went with. The rats were fleeing through these tunnels that might be subspace or warp itself. Slaughter mentioned that what was coming was dangerous. Daylight remembered that the biologist needed a servitor, and asked him if a tech adept will do.